So another Tuesday evening, and we're going to carry on as usual with our Shamati articles until we're done with them. And today we've got the 18th one, Shamati number 18, My Soul Shall Weep in Secret, number 1. So apparently there must be another one if this is the first one. So let's get through it. And if you have any questions, as usual, feel free to shoot them through so we can actually clarify for ourselves what kind of inner work we need to take from this article. Once again, 18, Shamati 18, My Soul Shall Weep in Secret, number 1. I heard in 1940, Jerusalem. When concealment overpowers a person and he comes to a state where the work becomes tasteless and he cannot picture or feel any love and fear and he cannot do anything in holiness, his only counsel is to cry to the Creator to have mercy on him and remove the screen from his eyes and heart. Crying is a very important matter. It is as our sages write, all the gates were locked except for the gates of fears, gates of tears. The world asks about this. If the gates of tears are not locked, what is the need for the gates at all? He said that it is like a person who asks his friend for some necessary object. This object touches his heart, and he asks and begs him in every manner of prayer and plea. Yet his friend pays no attention to all of this. And when he sees that there is no longer reason for prayers and pleas, then he raises his voice in weeping. It's said about this, all the gates were locked, except for the gates of tears. That is when were the gates of tears not locked? Precisely when all the gates were locked. It is then that there is room for the gates of tears, and then we see that they were not locked. However, when the gates of prayer are open, the gates of tears and weeping are irrelevant. This is the meaning of the gates of tears being locked. Thus, when are the gates of tears not locked? Precisely when all the gates are locked. The gates of tears are open, since one still has the choice of prayer and plea. This is the meaning of my soul shall weep in secret, meaning, when one comes to a state of concealment, then my soul shall weep, because one has no other option. This is the meaning of all that your hand and strength can do, do. Any questions? Oh, there are already. Nodan's asking, what are the reasons that crying is considered a spiritual force? Crying is an understanding that I need the Creator, and there is nothing I can do in my power to bestow to him. So a person cries. When you understand that you need something very necessary, but you have no force or power to do anything about it yourself, so you cry to the only force that can do something about it, which turns out to be the Creator. Sarah is asking, if a person is in a state where they cannot see the feelings of love and fear within themselves, how can they come to feel or become aware of a state that they cannot see? If a person is in a state where they cannot see the feelings of love and fear within themselves, how can they come to feel or become aware of a state that they cannot see? You mean they can see, right? I can't see at the moment, yes? But I want to come to a state where I can see. Is that correct? Yeah, did I understand correctly? Okay. So if you can't see or feel love or fear, then it means you're not adding to your work. If I want to love you, I have to invest in you. Okay? So that we can build love. And the more I invest, the more I love you. And then I have more fear of losing the love I built. Correct? So if you want to feel love and fear, you have to invest. Obviously, in our work, love of friends is the most important thing so that we can do this inner work properly. So within the 10, within the group, I need to come to the love of others. I have to invest. I have to invest a lot, actually. Okay. Nurdan's asking again, what can I do so that my eyes fill with tears, my heart softens, and I feel sorrow while praying? Exactly the same thing I just told Sarai. You have to understand there's a purpose to life. First of all, let's all start with a purpose, right? Okay, whenever we do something, we think first of all, why am I doing this? Okay, what's the purpose? Okay, the purpose is for us to connect and reach something called unity with the Creator, which means that a person must come to live in a reality and feel that reality like the Creator exists in that reality. In order for me to get to that state, I have to become like the Creator. Otherwise, I can't feel it. A child has to grow up to understand me, at least a little bit. Okay. So a person has to grow up, become like the Creator in order to exist in harmony and unity with the Creator in the Creator's reality. That's the goal. So the Kabbalists are telling us, in order to do that, we have to have traits just like the Creator. Okay, what's that? Well, they say you have to love others. Okay, how am I going to do that? Well, first of all, you have to see that you love yourself and nobody else. So you can want to love others for that purpose. So they put us through a study called The Wisdom of Kabbalah. And through this study, we begin to understand human nature and how our nature is only self-love, self-thought, self-consideration. It's me, me, me. So now, how can I change that in order to become something like the Kabbalists are describing, which is completely the opposite of my current state? And that's the whole study. So we have a group of people who work together, who want the same thing. Okay, so the goal for all of us should be the same. We all want to reach the purpose of life, which is to reach a higher level of existence, which is in harmony and unity with the Creator. Just like kids need to grow up to be in unity and balance and harmony with their parents. So, what was the question? In order to do that, I have to first see what's stopping me. Okay, what's the problem? Let's love each other, right? And then let's reach this unity with the Creator and have a great time. Okay? So we're trying and we understand that our nature does not let us love anybody else. It can't. And accordingly now, if I do all this investment, okay, all of this investment, then I begin to see that there is no chance that I can change my own nature. And this is why all the gates are closed. It requires me to make sure that I have done everything. So every day I need to look at life as like I've done everything and I need to ask for this. Okay. But if I don't invest in loving others, there's nothing to talk about. You see, politicians, they always say, I love everybody. It's like a joke. Okay. So we have to get serious and we have to practice to see that things are otherwise. Nazan's asking, how can I distinguish that the power of tears is born not only from helplessness, but also from my deepest inner desire? How can I distinguish that the power of tears is born not only from helplessness, but also from my deepest inner desire? It depends on the greatness of the goal you feel. But at the end of the day, it's going to be from helplessness because you're going to feel like you can't do anything. It's like a little child. They want something, but they just can't do it, so they go crazy. Only after you build love, without having that clothing of love, you can't do it from love, you understand? Okay. Because if there's no love, there's nothing to talk about doing things from an inner desire to love. We don't have a desire to love anybody. Our nature is a desire to love ourselves. Okay. So you can only have a deep desire to get out of the current bad situation you're in. That's the desire we can have, to get out of the bad state I'm in. Accordingly, it requires work. Pelin's asking, when I'm engaged in other activities, I think I could be doing the work instead. This is pointless, and I cannot enjoy anything. Is this fear of the Creator, or is it merely an inner delusion? Well, I think you need to clarify what you're doing during the day, why you're doing it, and then make a judgment. Don't you think? During the day, all of us are working or are with family, with kids or whatever, okay? We shouldn't be doing it blindly. We should also be thinking why I'm doing this. Okay, we can't behave like an animal, just doing things instinctively, right? You work during the day? Do you work? No. Okay, so try working during the day like normal people. Okay, like normal people. And then you can say, well, I have to work in order to make my living. I have to work in order to sustain my life. And I have to sustain my life because if I don't sustain it, I can't study spirituality because who's going to pay my phone bill? Who's going to pay my internet? Who's going to pay the rent? Who's going to pay for my food? Yeah. Okay. Unless you marry Prince Charming. Hmm? If you marry Prince Charming, it's another story. And all day you can sit and study, take care of the kids, and listen to the lessons. I agree. Okay, but until then, we need to have a life that facilitates also corporeality. Why? Because corporeality is a part of our correction. Okay, and that's important. This is why all of us need to work. We need to have families. We need to have roots. Okay, we're not, we need to have roots, family, kids, a life, a home, a place. Okay, you need to have that in life. Lack of it is a problem. Okay, then you're like all over the place. Like you're there, you're here, and then life will seem pointless. You're right. I agree. So, recommendation, I don't know, find Prince Charming, and have a bunch of princesses and princes and continue life. Okay, and then you can study and take care of the kids. Sumaya is asking, will my tears flow from my heart when I feel completely distant from the Creator? And will my heart soften when I begin to love the friend? Is that how it will be? I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're going to get some tears in your eyes too. Tears are a state where our emotions overwhelm our understanding. If I don't understand what I'm going through, I'm overwhelmed with emotions, and this is why we cry. Okay? It's a sign that our emotions are not understood in our mental faculties. This is why we cry. Because the vessel is overflowing. Okay? That's why we're like overflowing towards the outside. It's an overflowing of emotions. Sarah is asking, during prayer, I lose that spark that rises from within me almost immediately. Is this the state that Baal HaSulam refers to when he says the soul weeps in secret? When the Creator reveals to a person the feeling of desire and deficiency, or is it still a state of preparation? Well, it's preparation. A good prayer should not lose the spark, ever. It's like you're in a state of 24 hours, like in this desire. It's also natural. Imagine someone, let's say, God forbid, has a very sick child. She would be thinking about that child all day. At work, in the market, when she's cleaning the house, taking care of everything, she would still be thinking about that kid, right? Why? Because it's her child and the child is sick. It's serious. So in her mind, she's always thinking about her child. So it's also in corporeality, we have such a state. So if love is big enough, if the desire is big enough, then we should be thinking all day, every day. Makes sense? Same thing in corporeality. When you love someone very, very much, then you think about them a lot, especially if there's a dire situation. Nurdan's asking, how can I unite my mind with that, with what I feel? It takes time. You can't just do it overnight. First, we have to feel something, right? In order for me to feel something, I have to act. I have to do a bunch of stuff. And then I feel things, and then I start thinking, well, what am I going through? What happened that I'm going through this? So this, the cause, okay? I did something. I felt something. And now all this feedback, what I feel, what I went through, now I need to clarify it. Okay? It's always action, feeling, clarification. Nazan's asking, how can I distinguish my heart that worldly weeping is merely an emotional release, while spiritual weeping is a turning towards the Creator? Spiritual weeping is when I feel the Creator. I have to have some tangent point. Okay, that's why it's called spiritual crying. It's the gates of prayer or the gates of tears. I have to have some contact. I have to have something that I really miss in front of me. All right? Something I really need, want, and I can't get it. I'm incapable of getting it, but it's like felt like what it is. This is why wanting to get out of egoism, right, is the other side of wanting to get spiritual. Everything else, of course, it's going to be emotional. In any case, spirituality is emotional. You're not going to be crying out of your mental understanding. If you had an understanding of the state, you wouldn't cry. You would make sense of it. Right? If I'm a child, I burn my hand on the oven. I cry because I don't know why my hand is hurting. Okay? But if I'm a grown up, I burn my hand in the oven. What do? I go get some ice. I don't cry about it. Why? Because I understand what's going on. Okay? So, Mahir's asking, Melike is asking, Melike is asking, I know very well the importance of hopelessness, but it's hard to realize the feeling of crying after prayer. Crying is the prayer. Okay? Here, crying feels like deceiving the Creator. No, the crying is the prayer. And I can't escape from this feeling. How can I overcome this feeling? But understand that the cry he's talking about is the prayer. Let's read it again. Okay? Let's read the article one more time. When concealment overpowers a person and he comes to a state where the work becomes tasteless and he cannot picture or feel any love and fear and he cannot do anything in holiness, his only counsel is to cry to the Creator, to have mercy on him and remove the screen from his eyes and heart. So we have a person who wants to advance towards love and bestowal, okay? And he can't. He's stuck. He doesn't want to love others. It tastes like, I don't know, what is it? What does it taste really bad? Like sand. Okay, let's say you're eating sand. That's how the work of love of others is. He doesn't get any taste from it. He doesn't understand actually what he's supposed to get out of the actions either. Okay, because it's against our nature. We like, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to love you. Okay, what's supposed to happen? Okay. And there's no taste in it. I don't feel like I'm getting anything from it. So I don't know what love is, what fear is. Okay, I can't bring myself to move. This is a descent, obviously, but it's a descent. It's a descent because it's an increase in his coarseness. So he has an understanding. This is not a descent as in a disconnection. He is in a state where he understands that because of his egoism, he's just stuck somewhere. And his only counsel is to cry to the Creator, because who's going to get me out of this state? I'm trying to do something and I just don't feel anything. I don't feel like I want to love them. I do something good to them, still like, well, it's like, rotten tomatoes. It just doesn't give me anything. So he has to turn to the Creator. Says, look, I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to realize what the Kabbalists have written. And this thing is just not working out for me. His only counsel is to cry to the Creator, to have mercy on him and remove the screen from his eyes and heart. So I want to get rid of this egoism that's stopping me from the love of others. This is a person who's done a lot of hard work. It's not like I'm in my first month of studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, or in my first year, or in my 10th year even. This is a person who's been on the path for a long time, who's done a lot of work. Crying is a very important matter. It's as our sages said, or it's as our sages write, all the gates were locked except for the gates of tears. So this is the moment that the Creator has been waiting for. The world asks about this. If the gates of tears are not locked, what's the need for the gates at all? He said that it's like a person who asks his friend for some necessary object. This object touches his heart, and he asks and begs him in every manner of prayer and plea. So for us, getting out of our egoism, wanting to connect with the Creator, must be very dear to our heart, so that we can ask and beg in every manner of prayer and plea to the Creator. Yet his friend pays no attention to all of this. And when he sees that there's no longer reason for prayers and pleas, then he raises his voice in weeping, right? So for example, Sarai asked, right? She says, I'm praying, but it's not happening, right? After a minute or two, it goes, okay, it's supposed to. Okay, so we're supposed to do a lot of work on it until we really feel like this is the most important thing for us. And it's like that for everybody. Nobody comes here on day 1, 2, 3, starts praying. It's just not possible. But we try. Doesn't mean we don't have to. It means that we have to make some effort, right? So to make a prayer, to make this prayer as the desire in the heart, to make it realistic, I have to want to build this connection. Okay, so I have to do something. And then I can see if I can't do it, but I really want to do it. I really want to build this connection. And I'm trying, and it's not happening. Then I can come to the gates of tears. It said about this, all the gates were locked except for the gates of tears. That is, when were the gates of tears not locked? Precisely when all the gates were locked. It means that there's nothing else for you to do. It's then that there is room for the gates of tears, and then we see that they were not locked. So the Creator was just waiting, is just waiting for everybody to go through all the processes of growth. Like kids, you want them to grow up fast, yeah? But you understand they can't grow up faster than the laws of nature. It's just how it is. So you want to raise them, you want to already at a small age, you want them to do the things, move forward, be smart, understand everything. But life has a ticking clock. So you can't go faster than its routine. Same here for us. So we have to put some work in. Obviously, with spirituality, we can speed up the time, yeah? But it requires us to do some work, okay? However, when the gates of prayer are open, the gates of tears and weeping are irrelevant. This is the meaning of the gates of tears being locked. Why is it locked? Because until I've come to a true desire, it's locked. There's no way I can get in there. I'm just not there. Okay? If I'm 5 years old, I'm not going to start working at a company tomorrow. I'm just not there. Okay? So the gate is locked. This means I can't do, I'm just not capable of doing that right now. I'm just not there. Okay? Thus, when are the gates of tears not locked? Precisely when all the gates are locked, the gates of tears are open, since one still has the choice of prayer and plea. But if I've done everything, finished school, I don't know, did everything I need to do a job or to start a job, then I start looking, and then I can start. If I can't find anything, you better can bet you're going to start praying. Okay, same here. So a person needs to basically do all the things he can, and then the gates of tears will be open. But until I haven't done my maximum in quality and quantity, those gates of tears are locked. This is the meaning of my soul shall weep in secret, meaning when one comes to a state of concealment, then my soul shall weep, because one has no other option. This is the meaning of all that your hand and strength can do, do. So I'm required to do everything in my power to do, and then I can come to a state of weeping. Okay, because there's no other option. There's nothing left to do. We good? Sena is asking, is the inability to cry an expression of ego? Yeah, who wants to cry? We want to understand, be strong. Yeah. So what to do? You got to do something that touches your heart instead of your head all the time. And then you can get a little soft. And when you soften up, you can start crying. Sechi is asking, if all the gates are closed except for the gates of tears, does a sincere prayer happen only through crying? Crying is the result of your work. So the crying is the sincere prayer. Okay, like it says in the article as well. So after all, everything I've done, the crying should be the result, the outcome of my work. When I'm really crying means I want something. Okay, I really want something, and that's why I'm crying. Okay, so it's the result of your work. Is the true request to turn to the Creator with the purity of a child who does not understand their emotions but simply cries and asks? No, it's not like that for us. We have to come to the real recognition of evil, how bad our egoism is. Okay, we can't be praying or asking for something without understanding at least the state that I'm in. All right, so we have to be mindful. All right, so we can't be just it's quite the opposite. Okay, it's like we're really, really filthy and dirty, and we understand that from that filth and dirt, we need to change. So we have it. A prayer is a very, very deep understanding of the state you're in, called recognition of evil, and an immense drive to free yourself from that evil. And you also see that it's causing you all the suffering in life. This is why a prayer actually starts from lolishma. It's a very egoistic state, right? So from lolishma to lishma, as they say, so from an egoistic state of my egoism, I want to escape. Sarah is asking, while watching the October 29th meal later on through the friends' shares, the Creator once again brought me into that feeling of connection, and I felt that taste in my heart. This taste does not exist in worldly life, and this sense of lack keeps deepening. Is this deepening because, as the article describes, a person can no longer be nourished by worldly pleasures and begins to desire only the pleasure that comes from the quality of bestowal? True. This is why our corporeal life sucks. Okay, because we understand. We understand there's nothing there. It's like an empty shell. Okay, you get up, you go to work tomorrow. All right, so it's like then you wake up again, go to work again the next day. You keep going to work every day. It's like your life is ticking away, you understand? And nothing to show for. Can we be happy about anything? Nothing. And life will show us even as the next generation comes. I have some hope, but still, we still have to see a lot of degrading in society, degeneration in society, complete lack of care for anyone and anything and everything. So it's going to be interesting, but we will see that the corporeal life is just empty, and everyone will feel it as well. So we will have no choice at all, no choice, but to wonder why our life sucks. And then we'll have to work on it. Everyone will want to and need to and will have to. They will have to. Otherwise, it's going to be drugs, violence, suicide, depression, loneliness, death. Okay? Unless we understand what the problem is with human nature. Emre is asking, when a person receives an answer from the Creator and begins to hear again, when the waters have calmed, if they feel embarrassment before the guide, the friends, and the path, how should they relate to this state when they're no longer in darkness? Well, you have to learn from what you did. What good is going through any state if I haven't elevated myself to a new state? Otherwise, there's no point. So I went through a state and I feel embarrassed or shamed in front of the friends. I feel bad about myself. Okay, fine. We all do. What do you think we are? Winged angels? We're all bad. We all go through things we're really ashamed of. We feel like, what am I doing? What am I thinking? Okay, we go through that stuff and we should. And it's not a problem either. It's not a problem. It's a sign for me to, mature up somewhere. It's a sign for me to evaluate myself and ask myself the question, well, if I wanted to bestow, what should I do now? Or if I wanted to advance towards the love of the friends so that I can advance towards the Creator, what should I be doing? What should I change in me? What should Emre do now? And what shouldn't Emre do that he did before? These things are required for us to grow up. This is why I often, talk about embarrassing situations and we're not ashamed of talking about them. Why? Because like, what's there to talk about? You know, what's there to be ashamed of? We are what we are. End of story. Nobody has any control of the state we're in our thoughts, desires, actions, and so on. Nobody can help their desire. Nobody can control their beastly nature. And we see that in life as well. See how many people are in prison? Why? Why are they stupid? Can't you just stop yourself from doing something crazy? They can't. It's a sign that humanity cannot stop itself from doing bad things. This is why we have hundreds and thousands of people in prison. They cannot help themselves. Only after they go in jail, it clicks. What am I doing here? How did I end up in this mess? It's all the time afterwards. But during the action, nobody's thinking about tomorrow. So it takes a very developed person to anticipate and calculate what can happen before it happens. Otherwise, the rest of humanity, they're like on a, I don't know, it's like a bunch of unleashed animals running all over the place. And then everybody's wondering why we have a problem or crises in the world. So everyone's out of control. Nobody can control themselves. Everybody's impulsive, reflexive. So in spirituality too, when I'm trying to attain the love of friends in order to attain the love of the Creator, in order to attain a new nature, I'm constantly going through stuff which I need to observe and recognize about how my nature works. We raise children and we teach them how the world is working, operating, right? You hold their hand and you stop at the traffic lights and you tell them, look, you got to look right, look left. You got to check, double check, triple check, listen. And if nobody's coming, no car is coming, you can cross the road. But keep looking, even when you're crossing. Okay. That's how we raise them. So this is how the Creator is raising us. You're trying to do something. This is what happens if you do it like this. This is what happens if you do it like that. So now you're growing up. This is why there's nothing to be ashamed of. Really. Humanity is a mess. We know, we understand. And it's because of everybody's character is operated in an egoistic way. And everybody is thinking of their own self-benefit and self-pleasure. There's nothing they can do about it. That's how it is. And if you look at the world today, look at all the politicians, the business people, the I don't know, the famous people. Nobody's got any shame. Like, why? Okay. We're even asking why I need to be ashamed of anything. Okay. It's true. That's that's the descent of generations. And there's more to come. Okay, Nurdan's asking, when I cry out of fear of the Creator, is is it the tears that flow from my eyes or is it the sorrow that arises from my heart? When you're crying, it's because you're in a sad state. And then we don't know how to get out of it. Or you'd like to be in a different state than the current state you're in, because if you're crying, it means you're in a state. If you're in a sad state, recognition of evil is a bad state, sad state too. But sometimes we can also cry from joy. Feeling grateful can also lead a person to cry. Okay, it's not always bad. So crying is basically when I don't understand what I'm going through. Okay. It can be good, bad, but in any case, it's always good because it has something to show you about you. Okay. So even if it's seemingly bad, right, it's an opportunity for me to like open a new page, grow from it. This is why it's not a bad thing to cry. In our business, we're crying all the time. Ingrid's asking, what does it depend on if one forgets about the work and if one persists? Like you forget about the work and you persist in forgetting about the work. Do I understand right correctly? If you forget the work, you must have a framework that will put you back in. Okay, because we're always forgetting the work. During the day, who's always thinking about everybody else? Well, we don't. Right? Like Sarah said, I pray after a minute, it's like gone. A minute is actually quite good if you can keep a prayer for a minute. Not a bad thing at all. So the important thing here is to have a framework so we can get back to the framework, so we can get back to rethinking about the purpose, rethinking about the meaning of life. And it's always good to have some kind of a small book with you that you can open up. See, I've got Shamati here, right? It's just on the shelf. So when I'm looking outside, I can grab it from the shelf. Let's read something. It's good to remember while we're living, but you need an environment. So it depends on the surrounding. Devran's asking, can one rise above the love of the friends? And would that mean coming to the love of the Creator? If you come to the love of the friends, you will be in a state of love of the Creator. What difference is there? Loving is a trait, okay? It's an ability. If you, as they describe it in the wisdom of Kabbalah, can love really in a spiritual sense, somebody, anybody, right? Any human being, then you're already in a state of loving the Creator because you've changed. So love means I change. Okay. And now I have a new way of approaching reality. Dewey is asking, does the empty shell feel like increasing darkness? We do feel like darkness is increasing along the path, but it's not a bad thing. It it grows the desire for the light. So also with humanity suffering, right? The more they suffer, the more they'll begin to ask, why are we living? What's the purpose? Okay. And because of the lack of answers, they'll fight each other. There'll be a lot of conflicts, personal, societal, within countries, there'll be many because people just don't have an answer. Okay, what's the right way to approach life? Okay. And how can we get out of this state? Nobody will know. They won't have an answer. None of the religions will work. They don't work anyway. Okay. But we'll see, the whole of humanity will see that no method will work. No religion, no philosophy, no science, nothing will make anybody happy or fulfilled. We still have a bit of way to go for humanity to get there, but think of it like this, right? Think of it like this. Since we are at that state, okay, it's logical and highly probable that next generations will also get there, right? So it's a matter of development. Pelin's asking, and then after Pelin, I've got another question from Sarai, and then I've got to go because I've got another thing happening, another program. Pelin's asking, if actions are not in our control while they happen, then afterwards is what we must do to intend to become someone who will use the action correctly for the purpose and ask for help in this. If actions are not in our control, look, actions can be in your control if you choose the right environment and direct yourself properly. Okay. In humanity, what we see on the outside, it's not like that. They're just behaving as they are, like in traffic or whatever. But for us, it's a different ball game. For us, we have two environments. One, spiritual, our study in the spiritual environment, and two, our corporeal life and the corporeal environment. Okay. So there are two environments for us. So for us, specifically, we should be thinking what to do before doing something. Do you understand what I mean? This is why exactly during the day when you're working, you have to think about why you're working, why you have to work, why are you doing the things you're doing, right? Because the more we study, we should be living more and more inside the intention. Why am I doing it? Okay. Same with spirituality. And then afterwards, corporeality will become like a stepping stone for spirituality, right? We're going to see that we need corporeality, right? I need my body. Okay. I can't live without the body. So I have to take care of the body. Then I'm thinking, okay, why do I need to take care of this body? Well, I have to take care of this body because I need to attain spirituality, and I need to attain spirituality while I'm in this body. So the body becomes a tool for the goal. So your intention becomes one intention. Then every action, step by step, like dots on a line. Okay, it's a straight line made of many dots. Then I'm joining the dots. Got a straight line going, but and then everything becomes like I bring everything in my life towards one focused thing. And everything becomes just for that, even corporeality, even taking care of the kids, even taking care of the family, even working, everything becomes directed. And then I can become selective in my decisions. Why? Because I'm focused on a goal. So then everything becomes related to the goal. You understand what I mean? Okay. So our spiritual environment that we're trying to build should slowly, slowly, if we increase the importance of the environment, the importance of the goal of the environment, can slowly, slowly begin to understand that I only have one life. That's my spiritual goal. And everything else, I select what's useful and I get rid of everything that's not useful. That's called growing up. Sarah is asking, we have no control whatsoever in the corporeal life, and because of that, I cannot find anyone outside to blame. Yet sometimes I find myself rebelling against the Creator for the situation into which He has placed me. Then I feel regret for this, and I wonder, how can I cope with it? You are in the same boat as we are, all of us, okay? And all of us are going through what you're going through. We don't understand why we're having to deal with a bunch of stuff in life. We're all going through it. Okay, so you're not alone. You're with us on the same boat. So what can we do? How can we cope? We cope by continuing to work. What else can we do? I can't jump off the bridge, right? So we have to keep living, we have to keep studying, and we have to keep moving forward. But you're right. I agree. I had many of those states, really. I'm not kidding. And yeah, he does shake you up, shakes us up, still shaking me up. Yeah, daily. He has a routine. Every day there's a Mutlu shake-up period. Uh-huh. And it's fine. It allows us to it allows us to learn how we should redo the things that we're doing. It allows us to see where we should add. It allows us to grow up. You see, sometimes you need a slap from your parent. You do. Everybody does. I know, the 21st century, we can't slap children, okay? But you see, life is slapping us. Life shows us that a person needs some kind of a trigger, a bang, okay, to like wake up, okay? And we all need it on the path as well. But the good thing is, we're studying about it. We're not blindly like the outside world, getting beaten up and not understanding the reason. Okay. So all of these things should cause you to think about where you can mature up. Is there a place where you can mature up? And if you can't find a place, don't worry about it. Okay. Don't worry about it if you can't find a place to change or what to do and so on. Because what you don't understand today, you'll understand tomorrow. What you don't understand this week, you can understand next month. Okay. But the important thing is to be in the roadworks. Like I'm in the cycle. I'm working on it. Okay. I don't understand what to do. I don't understand how to deal with this life. I have just no idea what's going on, but I'm on top of it as best as I can. So I do my work as best as I can in corporeality. Okay, with all the crap that I get, I do my best. I keep the creator in mind. I have to. Okay. And on top of that, I do what I can in spirituality. So we're working with both hands, you understand? Corporeality, spirituality. And I do best that I can to go forward. Like kids who want to walk, but they keep falling. Okay. But you see, they always get up. So we have to learn from nature. Kids, they keep falling, but they keep getting up because instinctively they want to run. They want to walk, they want to run. So we have to do this uninstinctively. Understand with understanding. So it's a little hard for us, and I understand where you're coming from. We'll have those bad days. We will scream to the Creator and curse the Creator. And then we'll feel bad about ourselves. And then again, we'll get back into a state where we curse again. And then we'll feel bad. Oh, why did I say that? And it's part of growing up. Okay. It's like children tell their parents when they're little, I don't love you. You're a bad parent. Okay. Why? Because you just didn't buy him a chocolate because he's already had too many. But you understand it's a joke. He doesn't understand yet. When he grows up, he will. And then he will think, wow, how stupid was that? I was telling dad I didn't love him because he didn't get me a chocolate. What a stupid thing to say. Then we understand how stupid we were. But it's part of growing up. So we have to take it naturally. Okay? It's a natural part of growing up. All right. There'll be many like this, and we will overcome them all together. In the interim, have a good night. Bye bye.